to some 1980s TV shows and movies. I'm going to get into my directory of films from the 1980s, and we're going to take a look also at TV series too. You guys in the chat can let me know which one's your favorites, and let me know which ones you've seen or haven't seen or plan on seeing. So I'm going to get into my Plex device so that I can take a look at some of the stuff that that I've liked from the 1980s. But we're going to start with the year 1980 when it comes to film. So I've got this browser set up, display capture. We're going to open it up. Then I'll head on over there to the Plex screen. Here you can see it. I think it'll also work out fairly well. All right, guys. So here's my list of 1980s TV series. Some of the ones that I recall that I liked pretty well. You have the A Team right here. Um, I won't think it will click anything that will start up there on there, or anything like that. 4 Vietnam vets framed for a crime they didn't commit helped the innocent while on the run from the military. It's absolutely ridiculous, fun show. Uh, there it was with Mr. T, and some of the links down here. You can see some of the actors, and these are similar shows down here. Also in my library, you have John Hannibal Smith, Face Man, Mr. T, Howling Mad Murdoch, and some of the other characters that popped up. Colonel Decker, Eddie Velez. The weekly wrap up. What's good? Good to see you in here. Robert Vaughn. Remember him, General Hunt Stockwell? He was in a lot of stuff. I think if we click on him, it'll showcase a lot of stuff that he was in as well. That links it back. Five seasons of the A Team? One of those really cool shows. Let's go back here to the rest of it. Then you got Alf. Next, let's take a look at it. A funny alien wise guy comes to life with the Tanner family after crashing into their garage. Started in 1986. TVG was the rating. Television will never be like this again, where you had this show came on like in the evening time, from what I recall. It was like a prime time slot for this ridiculous setup of this funny show called Alf, where he had the alien. I mean, it's like a puppet character. I think he had one character was the body of Alf. One person was the voice. Paul Fusco was Alf's voice. You have Anne Sheeden as Kate Tanner, Lynn Tanner, Andrea Elson. It was his specials. He had several specials, including those Saturday morning cartoon ones. Then he later had that Saturday morning cartoon series as well. Season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then he had a part of a film that came out in the 90s as well, I believe. And it was a part of like the TV specials, Project Alf, and other things like that. Guys, remember that one? Bro, the 70s, 80s are my jams. I was never big into Alf. Alfred Hitchcock presents 1985, the updated remakes of classic stories from Alfred Hitchcock from the 1950s. Originally produced by the Master of Suspense, his original opening bits are colorized for reuse here. Then this series, this updated Alfred Hitchcock that you had, the Resurgence series, lasting for 4 seasons of that one. This is one of those ones that had Bruce Willis in it too, in a really excellent episode, I believe. I believe this had Bruce Willis in it. But they had a lot of different cool Alfred Hitchcock episodes, so I enjoyed those. Amazing stories, a truly amazing, fantastic science fiction, funny and odd, sometimes crazy, sad, enduring anthology series presented by Steven Spielberg, famous actors, actresses, and directors. 75%. This is an excellent, came out in 1985. This is a really excellent series. Take a look at this one. Episode 1, The Ghost Train. Episode 2, The Alamo Mummy episode. One of my favorite episodes of the series is this one right here, The Amazing Fallsworth. I got the Knight Rider lunchbox. That's cool. Yeah, I like the Knight Rider series too. Fine Tuning. This is the one where he tunes in channels from outer space or another dimension in it. Guilt Trip with Dom DeLuise in it. Remote Control Man. He has a hard life. He's basically getting nagged on by his wife all day, and he turns to his TV for comfort. And he starts dating a supermodel off of one of the channels that he finds. A lot of great character actors, and some of these were specials were directed by big name directors. You had big name actors in some of these. Each of these you could see their look. Some of them are funny, and some of them get a little creepy. This one was excellent. Mirror, Mirror. It's one on the darker side. So if you haven't checked out Amazing Stories before, it's a cool one. So let's go back and take a look at the rest of these things. There was 2 seasons of Amazing Stories. The updated Amazing Stories came out 2019. Amen. The new head of Philadelphia's First Community Church, Reverend Reuben Gregory, finds dealing with headstrong, opinionated, and unethical Deacon Ernest Fry, works as a lawyer when not attending to church business. Won't make his job easy. This TV series, um, Amen, was hilarious, and I watched all the episodes of it. 1986 is when it premiered. They had Sherman Hemsley and Clifton Davis, Anna Marie Horsford. Fantastic TV series there. Amen. I want to see if they click on the little beginning part. Oh shoot, we don't want to accidentally load up the pictures. Anyway, Benson over here. I thought I could click on the one part where it won't load up. I don't want to accidentally load any of the videos. Just wanted to showcase some of the highlights of it. There was trying to play it anyway. That was short enough that I don't think I'll get in trouble for that. Hopefully, there's Benson. This was an excellent TV series. Um, they had several spin-offs from this too. This thing went on for a long time. Jessica takes sharp-tongued former butler Benson, moves up in the world, becoming the first governor, then state director, lieutenant governor, and candidate for the executive mansion. So he just works his way up. Really cool little series. So mostly it was a comedy, sometimes a dramedy, every now and then. Sherman Hemsley is great. My mom loved Amen. It's Buck Rogers. Take a look. I'll see if I can up close on this poster. Well, a little bit there. Buck Rogers, the 21st, 5th century. Astronaut Buck Rogers awakens to find he's been suspended in space for 500 years. That didn't last very long, but it was great while it lasted. The Equalizer, the all-time epic series. It had Macaulay Culkin in it, amongst others. Had an episode where he meets a guy that claims to be an alien. He goes around, basically, he's a private detective, goes around with these contracts to stop criminals from doing something when people need his help. So that was a cool series, The Equalizer, and they've since went on to make it into um, movies and another TV series with Queen Latifah, which I haven't watched the Queen Latifah. I just recall this one and how epic it was. The pilot, the defector, a lot of big name stars always popping up in this. Really great series. Equalizer. Then the Fall Guy. Hey Melee, how are you doing? I'm just talking about movies now. I'm going through all these different movies and TV shows, talking about these 1980s TV shows and movies. He had the Fall Guy, another classic series to watch. It had a lot of action in it. He drives a big GMC truck with the eagle painted on its hood. He chases after bad guys. Just that's the premise right there. Really great stuff going on. Just fun. Family Ties was one of my favorite. To this day, it's still one of my favorite series. Started in '82. Michael J. Fox in the Keaton family chronicles liberal. Uh, it chronicles the liberal ex-hippies Stephen and Elsie Keaton, their conservative son Alex, their daughters Mallory and Jennifer, and later the youngest child was Andrew. And that was a cool show. Family Ties. And they were part of that. These were the ex hippies, and they turned into yuppies basically as the series went on. Awesome. Let's see, the Family Dowling Mysteries. Guys, remember this one? Tom Bosley. Before all the infomercial days, there was Tom Bosley. Did you see the remake of the Wonder Years? I haven't watched it yet. I probably won't watch it. I just recall the OG Wonder Years, not any of the new ones. You have the Fall Guy lunchbox. That might be worth something, huh? Fall Guy lunchbox. That's pretty cool. I really enjoyed Father Dowling Mysteries. It was pretty cool. They were always solving mysteries, and it was a priest and a nun. They'd go around doing different adventures. Let's see what we got up next. Growing Pains. Kirk Cameron came to our church locally. We have and he was pretty friendly in person to the people there, and this was a fun show, family show. A lot of really great episodes, especially in the first season. A lot of fun episodes in that first season. Look there, he's got the answers to all the tests on the bottom of his shoes, I think. So, Growing Pains. Highway to Heaven. It was the angel played by Michael Landon. He went around trying to help people in need. I think they remade this into a movie and maybe a part special or something like that that didn't have anything to do with the original. I haven't watched them, but I do have them in my collection, but I haven't seen it just yet. I have a lot of DVDs, HD DVDs, and Blu-rays and 4K videos as well. But there's Highway to Heaven. Jake and the Fat Man. It was Jake and the Fat Man. This was a spin-off series, I believe, um, of William Conrad's. I thought it was a spin-off series. Maybe I'm wrong. And Joe Penny had just come off of that other TV series called Riptide. So these were one of the really fun ones. You watched which one? I just watched Jaws earlier. Then 310 to Uma, the black and white one. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember the show Merlin too. Merlin was pretty cool too. This had a lot of good acting in it, in this series throughout it in Jake and the Fat Man. Let me pop over here so I can help the chat out real quick, and then we'll be right back with the movie coverage. Hold up, let me where's my display? That one? Okay, hey guys. I see you got a couple more people in the chat right now. So while we're discussing those movies, I'll just go ahead and give out some blue wrenches to them, and then I'll get back to talking about the films. So when I was watching last night, I was watching Remo Williams. So I'm gonna get into the 1980s films here in a second after we take a look at these TV shows. Rex Freestyle Rips, someone was asking where you were earlier. Let me give you your jacket, your blue wrench for you real quick. There you go. And April is in here, or April in. I appreciate you for coming through. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to you. Here's your blue jacket wrench. You can connect with one another. And I think we're all good to go. Thank you guys so much. Oh, yeah, we're going to take a look at that too. Let's go back into the screen so we can take a look at the 80s movies and TV series. There it is. All right, guys. So back over here. Coming down the screen. Let's talk about Knight Rider next. There it is, Knight Rider. When did this start? That two-part first episode was epic. This was a really great two-parter. And I really liked the next 4 or 5 episodes of this a lot too. They were really well put together and intricate too in a way, especially for the 80s. I enjoyed seeing each of these ones. No, don't give him jacket. So this one right here, the Night Moves, that was a cool episode. Also, one of my, I think Night Moves for me was one of the favorites of that one. Love Boat. You guys remember watching this show? It still comes on TV Land, I think, to this day, or one of those TV Land type channels. Guest stars galore on this thing. Some really fun, relaxing TV time just to sit there and enjoy seeing all the guest stars pop up, cameos from the great old timers to the young, and it could be any type of celebrity basically with the Love Boat. So you were basically watching it to catch different glimpses of different famous folks come on that boat and have some kind of funny adventure. It was really fun. 1980, Magnum PI came out. Thomas Sullivan, Magnum the Fourth. Tom Selleck is an ex-Navy's NIA ONI lieutenant in Vietnam Special Ops veteran. Reassigned his commission at the age of 33. Boy, is that esoteric, because he never got to be, what? Because he never got to be 23. On the beautiful Hawaiian Islands, Magnum PI enjoys his life with his buddies and pals and does adventures. Okay, cool. Magnum PI, excellent series. One of the best series of the 80s. Major Dad, which I think started in 1989, right? I am right. There it is, 89. Comedy family show, Major Dad. He's got these all a group of daughters that he's running around after, chasing after the daughters, having a good time with them. Let's see, this one is Mr. Belvedere, starting in 1985, which I think was partly based on. I think Mr. Belvedere is partly based on a book, as well as an older TV series or older film, I believe, because I've seen a lot of stuff from prior to that was alluding to the Mr. Belvedere character prior to this 1980s film, but I'm not sure that the character was necessarily named Mr. Belvedere in either of those. I'm not quite certain. The humorous adventures of an English housekeeper working for an American family, Mr. Belvedere. It had baseball legend Bob Uecker, who's, I guess, impossible to get a TTM of, maybe. I don't know. I've never tried. I don't know if it's even something that people could do at all. Magnum ice cream is good. the, the Baloo comments. Thank you so much. The Magnum ice cream is so good. You never seen Magnum PI? Sensei Domino in the chats. Appreciate it. We're taking a look at 1980s. Look back at the 80s, 90s stuff, or 80s today. I'll do 90s some other day. Murder She Wrote. Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury put out a provocative video of herself doing yoga and other things back in the 1980s to showcase that she stays fit. Yeah, I have that on VHS and also on Laserdisc. Professional writer and amateur sleuth, Jessica Fletcher uses her intellect, charm, and persistence to get to the bottom of every crime she encounters. Yeah, I liked watching Murder She Wrote. I really liked watching Columbo too. Columbo was great as well. Here we go with The Perfect Strangers, one of my favorite comedies, and also one of the favorite comedy of the kids too in the house. They love The Perfect Strangers. There you see Balky and his cousin getting into wacky craziness at all times. He had one where he misplaced a lottery ticket. Uh, they worked really well together. It would be great to see a version of it, not a reboot or anything like that, but if they came out with it again, if they could keep it exactly identical to this format, that would be kind of fun. Bronson and Pinchot plays Balky, and Larry Appleton is Mark Lynn Baker. 8 seasons long. What a great show Perfect Strangers was. The little known show, but one of my favorite shows of the 1980s is Probe from 1988. He's kind of like Super Genius. He was in the Hardy Boys. Some of you might remember him, Parker Stevenson. Fantastic actor, and this was a really good show that talked a lot about AI and how different groups and corporations were going to be doing the type of dystopian stuff that you see in today's world. So it was what you would consider predictive programming, basically. It was a really good series. I really love Probe a lot, and not they still haven't re-released it on Blu-ray or anything like that. Punky Brewster. It's a show about a girl named Penelope Punky Brewster. She's abandoned with her dog Brandon in a supermarket by her mom. She doesn't know where to stay, and she befriends Henry, and Henry goes on to adopt her. This is an excellent series, and her friend in the series went on to become, I think, a producer. She was the daughter of a producer. They also had a TV series that was what was it about? Oh, the cartoon animated series. Look at that variation of a Cabbage Patch doll. That thing looks rough. Cool. Riptide, Joe Penny series, crime drama, a lot of fun. They had a robot. Look at that. They got a robot. They were out on boats, airplanes, all kind of stuff. Look at, I think they're playing baseball in that scene. That was a fun, frantic TV series. I watched all the episodes of that. Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Oh, there was a reboot of Punky Brewster. That's right. I couldn't get through any of the first episode. It was terrible. Turned that nonsense off. It didn't really have much to do with Punky Brewster. A person would change a lot though, from a child to an adult. You'd have a lot of different change in you that didn't really work as a series. That new update. What's this? If thoughts could kill. Oh yeah, really. They deal with like mind control in that one. Scarecrow and Mrs. King is another one that has tons of stuff in it that relates to what goes on in the real world. But you can just watch it and relax and enjoy it because it's a lot of fun adventure going on at the same time. Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Bruce Boxleitner. Whoops, hit the wrong button just then. Bruce Boxleitner, Kate Jackson, Mel Stewart. He played Billy. Oh man, excellent series. Love Scarecrow and Mrs. King. Simon and Simon. These guys. If you guys watch this, another one of those action adventure series from the 80s. And they were talking about She's a Small Wonder. Remember that crazy song? She's a robot girl. They came out she stayed she has like this picture of her from Halloween in 2014 or 15, and she stayed looking pretty much the same, and she was wearing her outfit from her outfit again all those years. So this has some real laugh out loud moments in it in this one throughout the series. The little boy was excellent. Both those kids in there were fantastic. They have some real good dialogue, some real good lines. Small Wonder, real cool. What else we got? Oh, Saint Elsewhere. I really love this drama. Denzel Washington's in it. Howie Mandel is in it. I mean, it's an all-star cast that they're in a hospital, and it's both comedy and drama going on. Um, William Daniels, Ed Begley Jr., Howie Mandel, David Morse, Christina Pickles, Denzel Washington, all fantastic in that series. It was crazy ahead of its time. Oh, Werewolf down there. You see that? That show was something else. TJ Hooker, William Shatner, Heather Locklear. It was the cop show. Three's a Crowd. That's a cool looking poster for Three's a Crowd right there. Check that out. If you guys could see it. I'll bring it up. Three's a Crowd is an American TV sitcom sequel to Three's Company. It's loosely based on the British TV series Robin's Nest. Now, I've never seen the spin-off series of Robin's Nest. That was the Man About House series or whatever. I didn't watch those. They're from Great Britain. I didn't get to check them out. There's the Tour of Duty. It's a really hardcore look at Nam. It's a good series. Too Close for Comfort, and Three's Company. Three's Company, the all-time legendary comedy series. You had Norman Fell, Don Knotts, Richard Klein, Joyce DeWitt. That series was excellent, absolutely excellent. Saint Elsewhere was great. Hi, there's T.J. Hooker. I'm waiting for which movie is that? Five Nights at Freddy's movie is what you're talking about, probably Ohio. They had another spinoff called The Ropers. Right, you're right about that. The Ropers with Norman Fell in it. That's correct. Three's Company. V. This was all the rage when it came out. V and that crazy ending to it, and it's about these visitors that are there to help us, that are aliens, right? We had that crazy ending to it that people were shocked by at the time. And that TV series Werewolf, which this was on Fox. I don't know if I can up close over here on the side of it. There you guys can see that crazy poster for Werewolf. Young Eric was bitten by a werewolf. He has to attack the clan. This was a drama horror film that came on Fox when Fox first started back in '87. It was one of the first shows, along with the Tracy Ullman show, that came on. And Too Close for Comfort. He has these daughters. Um, he has these three pretty daughters that have all these guys interested in him and stuff like that, and he's trying to keep keep a hold of his daughters, keep a hold of his household, and keep pushing. Funny one. You guys want to take a look at now? We're gonna go into. You guys want to take a look at 1980s movies, or you want to take a look at some 1980s cartoons? We're going down memory lane, taking a look at some TV series and movies. Let me see what you guys say in the chat. V was much watched. Too Close for Comfort. That was a really cool, fun series. Heart to Heart had a baseball card episode. Did it, Sensei? Man, I might have to check that one out. I like Heart to Heart too. Maylee said she hasn't watched any of those. She had to ask her husband about it. Rad was a movie I enjoyed when I was younger. I think it came out was it 88 or later or 1990? I forgot when Rad came out. Oh, thanks, Mom. Love you too. They still have Too Close for Comfort on TV. On what channel? Do they? Oh, is it on Nick at Night or something else like that? I didn't know that they had it on premiering on TV for right now. Let me check and see what we got going for. Where's the TVs at? Oh, you guys want to take a quick look at animated TV series? This is the 1980s animated TV series. You had Alvin and the Chipmunks, Babar, Berenstain Bears, Bionic Six. Move over here to the side. Bionic Six, Bobby's World, CBS Story Break, which is one of my favorite series they had. In this one, this episode right here, the double disappearance of Walter Fosbeck is based on a book. That's a really cool one. CBS Story Break. Challenge of the GoBots. The GoBots were competing with the airtime between the Transformers and the GoBots at the time. You have Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, Daniel Tiger, Darkwing Duck, Denver the Last Dinosaur, Dexter's Lab. Let's see what's this one is. Dino Riders and Dino Saucers. To move the screen down a little bit more so you guys can see what they look like. There's Dino Riders, Dino Saucers. Doc McStuffins, Dora the Explorer, Doug. Huge fan of Doug. I like watching Doug. There's DuckTales, Eek the Cat, Exo Squad, Fantastic Four. We got on this page Mask, Flintstones, Frog and Toad, G.I. Joes, Galaxy High, Garfield and Friends, Gargoyles, The Get Along Gang, Mirror the Real Detective, The Marvel Superheroes Hour. That was one from the 60s and 70s. Life with Louie, Jim and the Holograms, Inspector Gadget, Incredible Hulk. Got the Muppet Babies. There you go. Muppet Babies, My Little Pony Tales, the new My Little Pony, Octonauts, Pac-Man, Peppa Pig, Phineas and Ferb. Got the Ghostbusters, Puppy Dog Pals, Pup Named Scooby Doo. Take a look at the Pup Named Scooby Doo. It ran for 3 seasons. Marvel Mask was cool, yeah. Let's see if it shows the details about the mask also. RoboCop series. You guys ever watch that one, the RoboCop series? Rocket Power, Smurfs, Snorks, Spider-Man, more Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, regular Spider-Man. One series came out in 81, the other one came out on like an 82 or something like that. Then you had the 1990s one right here. I think my favorite of those was the 1990s one. SpongeBob, Star Wars, Super Friends, Super Y, Superman. The 88 Superman series is right there. Wishbone, Carmen Sandiego, Ninja Turtles, Tailspin, Tot, SWAT Cats, and Superman. RoboCop, Peppa Pig. All right, I'm gonna load up the movies from 1980 now. Let me see. I'm gonna be careful not to click it too hard that it all starts playing them. Let's see where it's at. Not categories. Oh, where's the folder? Folders. All right, well, let's load up 1980 itself. How do I see it as a collection, though? Oh, okay. So I can click it like that, right? Movies. Here we go. Oh, shoot. Let's keep going backwards. Oh, well, it says I can go by decade. What if I could do 1980s? Where does it say 80s? These are all from the 80s. Earlier movie I liked is Dennis. Oh yeah, I like Duel. That came out in 1977, I think. If you guys remember that movie, anybody remember the Saturday morning show? Hey, Vernon's Ernest. Yeah, I've got that on DVD, the whole set. I pretty much stopped watching cartoons around 87. Friday night, Five Nights. Okay, thank you so much, Ohio. Okay, enjoy. There'll be a lot of people there. We got the Burbs. Can you guys see okay on your screen the movies sections? 1980s, The Burbs with Tom Hanks. I wanted to click this button right here, but it won't let me do it, I don't think. Oh, here we go. By year. Um, by year going up. Here we go. This is the way I want it to go, so we can go step by step on these ones. Real quick through these ones or different ones. You guys watched 9 to 5? It was the comedy the one of the two big comedies of 1980 was 9 to 5, starring Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and Dolly Parton. They had the boss that they felt like they were reaching the glass ceiling with, or whatever. It was a good, funny comedy. The Agency was Lee Majors, and it was supposed to be about this plot within a. Oh, what is there? There's like a plot within something. Brainwashing people plot within the newspaper and other business. You had The big uh, comedy of that year was Airplane. And when this came out, Alligator, it was all the rage back then. 1980, when Alligator came out, it was about a pet alligator getting flushed down a toilet. Then he came out real big and started chomping on everybody. It was B movie silliness. Was cool to watch. We got the next three up. We got American Gigolo. This is the um, Richard Gere movie. Paul Schrader. Bill Duke was in this. I see that and I forget. He was also in Predator. Angel on My Shoulder. Which movie was this about? Criminal dies, goes to hell, gets one last chance to redeem himself by helping a respected judge. That's a remake of a 50s story, isn't it? I think it is. Drama, fantasy. Peter Strauss, Richard Kelly, Barbara Hershey. Yeah, that's an interesting movie. Atlantic City, remember this was nominated for awards at the time when it came out. Airplane is a classic. I'm on the seventh night. Okay, Ohio, that's cool. In a corrupt city, small town gangster find themselves thrown together in escape of love, of money, drugs, and danger. Atlantic City. Burt Lancaster, Susan Sarandon. Yeah, this got nominated for a lot of awards at the time when it came out. What else we got down here? Well, I got to move the little push it down button. All right, guys can see everything on there so far on the movies that we're looking at. Let me check out this movie. What's this? Attic. I don't know. I don't remember this movie. A librarian devotes her life to caring for a wheelchair bound tyrannical father. Her pet monkey? That movie sounded all kind of crazy. I might have to check. I don't recall that movie. Then she had a pet monkey too. Oh, then she got mad about her pet monkey? Okay. I might have to watch that crazy sounding movie sometime. Ian McDiarmid was in this movie, The Awakening, and Ian McDiarmid was Emperor Palpatine. This also starred Charlton Heston. Archaeologists discovered his daughter is possessed by the spirit of the Egyptian queen. To save mankind, he must destroy her. That's a really over the top sounding movie. A psychiatrist living in Vienna. Bad timings. I don't know. This one right here has got a whole bunch of stars in it. Baltimore Bullet, James Corbin, Omar Sharif, Bruce Boxleitner. Any of you guys remember this movie? They also came out with movies like Swarm and Day of the Animals. You're right about that. The big red one. You guys watch this one? This is one with Mark Hamill in it and Lee Marvin. It's a World War II picture. War and drama. The Black Marble. You guys recall this one? Midlife, going through a midlife crisis. Yeah, I recall that. Black Marble. Blade on a Feather. Blinded by the Light. This is prior to those groups like Heaven's Gate. This was a movie about that kind of stuff. Blinded by the Light. The Blue Lagoon. I don't dare click on that picture now because I don't know if they're gonna show something they shouldn't be. Bronco Billy. That's the Clint Eastwood one, right? Where he's in the uh, an idealistic modern day cowboy struggles to keep his Wild West show afloat in the face of hard luck and waning interest. Yeah, by the 1980s, still there was waning interest in westerns and in these western sideshows too. And then by the 90s, very little of it. And then today, there's very little content of western stuff anymore. So that's a genre that's kind of died out completely. We also don't have very much sword and sandal genre either. Brubaker. Oh, it's an excellent prison film. You guys got to check out Brubaker. The guy from what was that movie? Live and Let Die, right? The James Bond movie. Henry S., I'm glad you're in here. You'll probably know some of these films. I'm going over all the films from the year 1980. Earlier, I was talking about the TV series, TV shows. Henry S., welcome in. Let me see what he said. My favorite TV show was 321 Contact. The two young ladies hosting were to die for. Even at 5 to 10 years old, I knew something good. Yeah, that's a. Oh no, please don't. Please don't. That's the fault of the computer. Um, the little tab on the computer sometimes is touching the side thing. Cabo Blanco is like a updated remake of or a version or variation of Casablanca in a way. Cabo Blanco, starring Charles Bronson. It's pretty decent. Caddyshack. You guys remember this one, right? Funny comedy. Harold Ramis was the legendary Chevy Chase, Dangerfield, Ted Knight, Bill Murray. You guys recall Caddyshack? For those of you that might not have seen it, it's decent watch if you want to check out a funny film. Can't Stop the Music. I can't say this is a great movie, but it's interesting. It's a village people movie. It's different. We've got Carney. Hold up, we gotta show this one. Carney. This is the Jodie Foster movie where they're at these carnivals, right? And it's supposed to be like this dramatic insider's look into carnivals. Not that anyone was asking for it. No one was ever asking for an insider look into carnivals. But there's Jodie Foster, Gary Busey as a clown in there. The fantastic actor Kenneth McMillan. He had just starred Dark Knight of the Scarecrow around this time too, and then later on Dune. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow and Dune for Kenneth McMillan. You also had Teddy Wilson, fantastic character actor. Chain Reaction, if I recall correctly, two of the films that had come out during this period, as well as Chain Reaction. This is a science fiction one. They featured a lot of car crashes in them, and the stunt drivers and the people that had to recreate those scenes, they used up actual lot of cars for them. And I don't know if we'll come across that one too. Steve Bisley. So it says a Holiday Inn couple pursued by thugs after a nuclear storage who's intent on covering up the accidental leaks. I won't click on a change of seasons. It's a drama kind of um, City of the Dead. It's not the one I'm thinking of. Don't Answer the Phone. That was an interesting horror. Coal Miner's Daughter was all the rage at the time. Tommy Lee Jones, Sissy Spacek, Beverly D'Angelo. It's a must watch. Coal Miner's Daughter, one of the best of 1980. The Earthling. Oh yeah, the Ricky Schroeder movie. I think that this one is a really sad film, isn't it? It's about a young boy who just lost his parents. From what I can recall, it's a pretty sad drama. The Elephant Man, based on a true story. Anthony Hopkins, John Hurt, Anne Bancroft, Gary. Oh, Gary Busey is a clown. And yes, it did. That's the Bloodline game that I watched Three's Company always, and I loved it. Thanks, Mom. Oh, it came out. I think the first. I think it's 76 or something like that. 79 maybe. 76, 79, somewhere around there. I'd have to pull it back up to see. You wanted to see a behind the closed curtain look into Carnival in a dramatic fashion. What's Falling in Love Again? Who was this? Oh, Elliot Gould. Okay. Elliot Gould was all the rage in the late 70s and into the early 80s. He was the man for screen. The cinema always had him in there. There's Fame. Fatso was an interesting comedy with Dom DeLuise. He's trying to lose weight. This is the fiendish plot of Dr. Fu Manchu. Final countdown. I've got this on 4K. I enjoy it. Time traveling movie. Kirk Douglas, Martin Sheen. It's kind of interesting. This is the other one I wanted to look at too. Frank Sinatra. So back then, Frank Sinatra starred in the Blue Shield or something like that, where he was a police detective, and they were thinking about having Frank Sinatra play the part of Harry Callahan in the Dirty Harry series. But Frank Sinatra was getting up there in age, so they didn't have him do that. Faye Dunaway, David Dukes, James Whitmore. We've seen him in multiple roles, including I think he was in one of the Twilight Zone episodes, wasn't it? But the first Deadly Sin was a, kind of a cop drama type movie, thriller. Flash Gordon. They got this out on 4K right now too. It looks excellent in 4K. You guys got to check it out. That's funny. Warriors come out to play, said Henry. What is this for the love of it? I don't know. Off the hand, I don't know. Foxes was a really strange uh teenager slash young women drama. Roger Ebert said the movie's a rare attempt to provide a portrait of the way teenagers really do live today in some suburban cultures. Maybe, I don't know. If you watch it, it's kind of it's different. Foxes. Who was George and Mildred? I don't know what that is. Ghost Dance, not sure. Gloria, this was a revenge picture right here, kind of the female heroine film. She was protecting the boy. Gorp was one of those silly movies. I didn't like Midnight Madness too much. There's Gorp. Harlequin was type of an esoteric film based on the Rasmussen stories. Hawk and the Slayer. This was an interesting little action adventure film, kind of the what's it um, like the sword fantasy films. The Hearse was a thriller. Herbie Goes Bananas. I liked as a kid. Hero at Large was kind of a interesting John Ritter film, comedy and drama. He was dressing up as a superhero and trying to save people in his city. Hog Wild, another one of those campy movies like Hot T-shirts. Let me check on this one here. How to beat the high cost of living. They plan to steal $1 million from a large plastic ball. I think I've forgotten this movie. I'll have to watch it again to see if I can recall anything about it. It starred Eddie Albert, who you may remember from Green Acres. What up, Blake? I'm going over movies from the year 1980. Movies from the year 1980. Blue Shield, I get that. The Idolmaker. Which Idolmaker was this on? Oh yeah, the Fabian story. Yeah, okay, I recall this. Frankie Avalon, Fabian, Jane Mansfield story right here. This had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it back in 1980. This was her biography of Jane Mansfield. I don't recall. Just tell me what you want. Let's see who's in that one. Ali McGraw. Okay. This one's probably a Klondike Fever. Oh, Elliot Gould again. Ricky Schroeder. Last Flight of Noah's Ark. Disney put this out, I believe. That's where they try to escape on a boat. There's been other versions of Little Lord Fauntleroy, and that's one of them. Came out in the year 1980. And Melvin and Howard. Supposedly, this is supposed to be based on a true story about Howard Hughes and how he had offered a guy a fortune for helping him when he was found out in the desert. The Mirror Cracked. Is that a drama? I love this poster on the Night of the Juggler. Look at that poster. That is crazy 1980s stuff. He's ripping a building and he's ripping buildings in half as he comes through there. That's a cool looking poster. Check out that poster on that one. Let me see if I can see up. Cap Cucamonga. Was that a film? Cap. Or was it another campy film that came out back then? What was Ninja Sky about? Oh, it was like a ballet based story. The Ninth Configuration. I don't think I liked that film. I can't recall. I'll have to check it out. Nothing Personal, Off the Strip, Oh Heavenly Dog. That was with the Chevy Chase. Ordinary People. I've got the 4K version of Ordinary People. It's a depressing drama. This won the best Oscar. Empire Strikes Back should have won the best Oscar. But Ordinary People, though, is decent enough that I don't think that it should be forgotten. Robert Redford directed it. The Pilot, another good film from 1980. This one's about a drunk pilot. It didn't get any kind of love. Playing for Time. Popeye. You guys remember Robin Williams? Disney tried to put this together as with Shelley Duvall. It was uh, it was one of the most hyped movies at the time, and a lot of people went to the theater to go and check it out, to go and see Popeye, Robin Williams, to see what the would be. Well, who was the director on it though? The director was the wrong fit basically for it. Robert Altman. See, you can't have Robert Altman directing Popeye. It was interesting though, but Robert Altman I don't think is the right fit for a Popeye film. Private Benjamin, and Private Benjamin has that ending where it just kind of ends real fast, where it should have went on for a little bit longer to explain a little bit more. Goldie Hawn, The Private Eye is a silly little Don Knotts comedy. Tim Conway was decent enough. What's this next one? The Promise of Love. I don't recall it. Raise the Titanic. We just went through that recently with them messing with the Titanic. Resurrection. This is a little known film. She dies during a car crash, then she gets resurrected. It's pretty. It's pretty dramatic in a cool little way. I really like Resurrection. It's one of the best films in 1980. The Return of the King. This is the animated one, and I'm not crazy about it. Saturn Three. I really liked it. It was a sci-fi horror film. My mom introduced me to this movie, Saturn Three. Appreciate you, mom, for showing me Saturn Three, starring Kirk Douglas and Farrah Fawcett. I think we were watching it because it had Harvey Keitel, Kirk Douglas, and Farrah Fawcett in it. So we were watching it one day. Saturn 3. It has this crazy robot that they build, and it's a psycho robot. Has no eyes or face on it, basically. It looks messed up as heck. I don't know about Scared to Death. Smoking the Bandit Part 2 had come out at the time. Yeah, Somewhere in Time. Did you guys watch this one, Somewhere in Time, with Christopher Reeve? Somewhere in Time, starring Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour. He goes back in time to meet Jane Seymour. It's a really cool film. I need to get it on 4. I've got it on 1080. I need to get it on 4K. Stir Crazy. I think that he was never actually in the chicken suit. If I what Richard Pryor claimed, I think later on they're offering him a lot of money to be in the chicken suit. He said he didn't want to. Superman 2. I like the Richard Donner cut of this movie. It's really fun. Tale of Two Cities. That's a long one, isn't it? 2 hours and 36 minutes. So not as long as I thought it was. To All a Good Night, one of those Christmas ones that wasn't nice. To Race the Wind. I actually think this is a decent movie, To Race the Wind. Treasures of the Snow probably is good too. Unseen, Up the Academy. I didn't care for that one too much. The this was the not National Lampoons, but what's his name? Mad Magazine. That's what I'm trying to think of. Mad Magazine put that movie out, Up the Academy. Urban Cowboy, which they made a big deal out of. Used Cars, they made a huge deal out of. Where the Buffalo Roam was the original version of that Gonzo journalist Hunter Thompson film stuff. Prior to the Johnny Depp version of that film, there was this, Where the Buffalo Roam. And Bill Murray. Bill Murray was wanting to do um, dramas. He wanted to be in dramas back then. but he was only famous primarily for doing comedy. Betty Davis, and finally Windows. That was the all the film. Well, basically a whole lot of the film from the year 1980. Empire Strikes Back also was that year. There's a couple other things I think too from the year 1980. There's Windows. Windows is a thriller that doesn't really do. It goes in too many directions, so they didn't direct it really well. It could have been pretty interesting. It had a lot of cool little elements to it, but they just didn't know how to tie them all together. So that was the films of 1980. Which for you guys in the chat, which film from 1980 was your favorite from that year, particularly 1980? I'll go back in here. Where's my browse part? There I am. You guys can see me okay now. I'm gonna check on the that list over here of the ranker list from 1980 and see what they listed that I might have missed. Ranker list 1980. Mm, I think we covered just about everything from the year 1980 though. Just about. Oh shoot. I can't pull up that ranker list on the here because that's gonna they're gonna start making those noises and stuff, I think. Empire Strikes Back, Caddyshack, The Shining, Airplane, Blues Brothers, Superman 2, 95, Stir Crazy, Raging Bull, Friday the 13th, Coal Miner Daughter, Private Benjamin, Any Which Way You Can, Smoking the Bandit 2, The Fog. Oh, I didn't have The Fog in there. I should have had The Fog in there, right? Somewhere in Time, Ordinary People. But people are really sleeping on Ordinary People, the number one movie of that from according to the Oscars. But I gotta agree with Ranker. The number one movie that year that should have got the Oscar would have been Empire Strikes Back. That was the best. What was the other one that got? The Blue Lagoon. That was just strange, really. Fame, Elephant Man, Popeye. Oh, My Bodyguard. I'm missing My Bodyguard from that list. I gotta put that in there. My Bodyguard is missing. I got Seems Like Old Times in there. What was Seems Like Old Times about? Chevy Chase is a writer who's moved to a cabin in California to work on his novel. Then he gets kidnapped. Is that right? Chevy Chase, Goldie Hawn, and Charles Grodin. And I like Charles Grodin. I'm sure I've seen the film. I got it in my library. I've got that film in my library. I just don't recall all the bits and pieces to it. Let me see if I can pull it up over here on my like old times. Oops, I went into the 1981 movies real quick just then. What was that movie called again? It's called Seems Like Old Times. Seems like old times. I don't see it in here. I don't see it listed over here in my I don't see it listed. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to go back and look for it. I must have misplaced it somehow. I misplaced it. Do we have anyone left in the chat, or did everyone dip out? Did you guys have a favorite film from the 1980s that you really liked? I have the chat listed over here on my phone so I can keep track of it too. Cooler Plastics is asking if I collected any 80s toys. You bet I did. I got the 80s toys. I've got Star Wars and Ninja Turtles and what's the other stuff? I don't know, a whole batch of different things I collected, but primarily the Ninja Turtles and Star Wars. That was my main toy collecting PC at the time. Toys that I liked. I gotta put this Tony Dorsett card back up. Tony Dorsett has been, um, I think he charges some astronomical amount all of a sudden. And back in the day, I got this for free. And it wasn't all that back in the day. It was just like the other. It was recent, so I won't be able to send them out anymore. Do you remember the TV show Monsters? Oh, was it the animated one with the little characters, the little character monsters, or was it a different series called Monsters? What year? What time period was that? Hmm. Was it the? Oh, okay. No, that I think Sci-Fi Channel started airing it, and I didn't have Sci-Fi Channel until a little bit later, right? I think that was the first one, but I do think I saw it. Sci-Fi Channel had it, didn't it? It was a syndicated series. Let me look it up and see where it was first aired at. Original air date of Monsters was 1988 to 1991, and like you said, it says it's about the a family settling to watch a TV show about these monsters, and they start turning into monsters. Oh, it starred Michael J. Anderson in it, huh? Was he one of the primary characters? Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I recall Monsters. It had a cool looking logo for it too. I wonder if anyone's got copies of it out there. Probably from that the daughter liked to eat gummy worms. Yeah, it was a started in 1988, I guess, ran through 91 and was showing the monster family. Monster family. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys for being here with me today. We ran for an hour talking about the 1980s. I'm gonna come back on stream later tonight, I think. If not, then tomorrow sometime for my birthday stream, I'm gonna be on here, and then I'll talk about something else. Well, that was a fun stream to talk about the 80s. Go back on, check it out. I appreciate everyone for coming through and anyone watching the replay where I talked about 1980s TV shows and movies, and we studied the year 1980, and I think I did a thorough enough job on it to explain some of the stuff from it from that time period. Appreciate you guys to everyone in the chat. Thank you for coming by. Blake, Henry S, Cooler Plastics, Ohio 24. Maylee, who came through earlier. My mom. Thank you guys. Sensei Domino, Ohio. Who else did I miss out? If I missed out on anyone, Connor and who else was in here? Oh yeah, Rex and April Lynn. Thank you guys also. And weekly wrap up, which is Albert Perkins. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys later on the next stream. Probably do something either tonight or